Well, greetings to everyone joining us on the School of Christian Mysticism, in this School of Christian Mysticism conversation between Malcolm, Tim and myself in preparation for our continued exploration and reflection of a section of the Gospel of Thomas. And as usual, we're using the Jean-Yves Leloup version of the Gospel of Thomas. We're preparing for next Monday, which is Monday the 20th of November, and you're very welcome to join us live at 9:30 until 10:30 next Monday on that date, when we have a more in-depth Lectio Divina practice, followed by a sharing between all those that are there, which is not recorded. So this morning we're going to be looking at certain verses in Thomas, and these are 67 to 75, 67 to 75. And in the Leloup version, this is page 39 and 41. So what we'll do this morning is we'll have one reading. And Malcolm, would you like to do that first reading when it comes up? So Malcolm will read the text the first time, and then we'll have a conversation which really is coming from our mind in an immediate response to what we've heard. We haven't prepared, although we've all used this gospel in the past, we haven't prepared our conversation at all. Spontaneous and in the moment. And obviously we all come from the moment. So every conversation about these verses, I'm sure, would be different. But this will be the one that we'll offer you today, just as a preliminary stimulation of your own thinking and reflective process. And then, Tim, if you take the second reading, and after that second reading from Tim, we will have more of a lectio or lectio divina process of more contemplative and simply sounding out any verse or word, image, phrase, which strikes us much more deeply in the heart, and perhaps even more deeply than that. And then we'll read again. I'll read the last time, and then we'll have about 10 minutes silence in which, when you're listening to this, watching this, you can join in a depth of contemplation. So I think we'll start. Malcolm, if you'd like to start. Thank you.
Yeshua said, Those who know the all, yet do not know themselves, are deprived of everything. Yeshua said, "Blessed are you when they hate you and persecute you. There is a place where you are not persecuted that they will never find." Yeshua said, "Blessed are those who have been persecuted in their hearts, for they have known the Father in truth. Blessed are those who are hungry, for they will be fulfilled." Yeshua said, "When you bring forth that within you, then that will save you. If you do not, then that will kill you." Yeshua said, "I will overturn this house, and none will be able to rebuild it." A man said to him, "Speak to my brothers, that they may share with me my father's property." Yeshua answered him, "Who made me into a divider?" Turning to his disciples, he said, "Who am I to divide?" Yeshua said, "The harvest is abundant, and the workers are few. Pray the Master to send more workers to the harvest." The Master said, "There are many who stand around the well, but no one to go down into it." Yeshua said, "Many are standing by the door, but only those who are alone and simple can enter the bridal chamber."
Gosh, there's a lot in here.
Mm.
It's hard to know which bit to start
Yeah.
with because it's all playing in and out of the depth, I suppose, of our relationship with God and with ourselves and with humanity, with creation. But maybe towards the end, where there are plenty around the edge of the well and there are plenty at the door to point, yeah, there it is, go through there. and you will know the all, you will be whole or whatever. So like teachers of religion are often like that, but without the courage, or is it courage, wisdom, whatever it, all of it, I suppose, to go in ourselves, isn't it? To go in ourselves. So back to the beginning, the one who knows the all but does not know the self loses everything. It's fine. We can get like a bolt of God, like spiritual uplifting or something, sudden realization, or somehow God breaks through the cracks and us and we see light, but if we leave it at that and just worship that, or make theology about that, or make church about that, we lose all of it, because we haven't had the courage or the nous or the wisdom to let that permeate, and to look inside where God leads us, where Christ leads us, to know ourselves. And he says that blessed are the ones who are persecuted, and then he speaks of that part of us that cannot be persecuted because it cannot be found. And that, for me, seems to be that spark that Meister Eckhart is talking about, and Malcolm, you were talking about in morning prayer this morning, that spark of the soul, the spirit, or what the spark of reality in us. Thomas Merton calls it the point something, I can't remember exactly what.
Vierge.
Yeah, that's right. The point vierge can't be changed. It's what's real in us, the nakedness. And so, yeah, I don't think it matters where we start in this little session.
Yeah.
They're all speaking, moving in and out of the presence, I suppose, and the presence in us.
It seems we can't speak outside of the context that we're in, which is what's happening in Palestine, Israel-Palestine. It seems very, very relevant and pointed, doesn't it? It draws us yet again to walk our talk. That image of standing around the edge of the well but not jumping in. It's such a powerful image, isn't it? Of kind of, yeah, we can pretend we know, and we might know to a certain degree, but if we don't, it's a kind of total immersion required, isn't it? It's a total immersion. If you jumped in from the edge of a well into a well, you've had it, haven't you? I mean, you can't be half in and half out. You don't know what's going to be down there, how far it is, how dark it might be, what a depth of water. You don't know if you'll ever come out again, really. It requires a commitment of a whole commitment, doesn't it, to experience, really. It can't be understood from the edge.
Yes, a total trust.
Trust.
I was struck by the first two verses as well. There's a place where you are not persecuted that they will never find. Well, obviously that can be the place of the ultimate truth. It can be the true self, but there's also the potential for a false mysticism there. I used to use hypnosis in my practice, and using hypnosis, you can take people to a place where nothing will affect them. But that's sort of shutting everything out. It's not changing yourself. It's just shutting yourself out. And that's, if you do not know yourself, you're deprived of everything. It says in the first one, you can imagine that you are reaching some kind of spiritual point because You're feeling peaceful and calm and relaxed and nothing's bothering you. But all the bothers are actually still there.
Mm-hmm.
The ego is still there. You're just shutting it out for a bit. And as soon as you stop shutting it out, it comes back with full force or greater force, really. And there is that kind of false mysticism that Jan van Rustbroek talks about it, actually, that a natural state, it's a natural state of psychological peace and not a spiritual state of true peace, of truth. And you can only get to that truth by, as it says here, being simple, or monachos, it uses the word, being simple, being simple. I mean, there's no other word for that.
Yeah.
Simplicity. No prejudices. No ego. Simplicity. So I'm losing the words now.
It's in simplicity where faith comes in, isn't it? Because when you go down into the well, as Joe has been saying, it's a leap of faith, literally, because we don't know what's at the bottom. When we put a bucket into a well, we want to bring up the water that gives us life. So we want this. That would be the only reason, I guess, for taking that leap of faith. Because we are hungry. It's blessed are those who are hungry, because it's the last part there, isn't it? Not the last part, 69. Blessed are those who are hungry, for they will be fulfilled. Or then we could look at that later, I suppose, in the next verse. But it's faith requires us to be simple, because if we are attached to, oh yes, I will get the reward, I will get that water, I will be fed. Well, Christ tells us we will be if we're hungry. So just let that hunger be. And the words do start to fail, don't they, as soon as we touch something. But it's in simplicity. And yes, Malcolm, there is false mysticism. It can easily be cast a shroud over what we're doing, because it's something that we could hide and anesthetize ourselves against. And this is where discipline must come in, where we must come regularly to practice, not just sit in contemplative prayer when we feel like it, or when we feel good, or we need something. So we do it today, but we didn't do it yesterday, and we're not going to do it tomorrow. We'll just do it when we need to do it. That opens the door to false mysticism. Whereas when it's painful but we do it, then the discipline can help to keep us there. And so we have to do that. We have to foster discipline in our spiritual life. Yeah.
There's a kind of minute by minute practice, isn't it, as well, that one is disciplined enough to turn within as one feels the rising of any kind of thinking or emotion. It feels that reaction, and there's the constant kind of where I was thinking there's a reference to that we had to know, yeah, about, yeah, well, those who know the all yet do not know themselves are deprived of everything. And when you bring forth that within you, then that will save you. If you do not, then that will kill you. That's also, I wonder, the counterbalance really, that one has the discipline, or tries to have the discipline, to monitor, as it were, one's egoic state and one's responses and reactions, but also one is at the same time gestating the Christ, that because we must bring forth that. If we do not, it is a true death, isn't it? I'm not sure if I'm making much sense in words, but it's this dual process that we have to engage in, isn't it? That we're monitoring our egoic state, and at the same time fostering our spiritual state.
What do you think that what do you think that refers to?
It is that will save you.
Yeah.
If you deny that, I think for me it's that. It is if we do not bring forth, if we do not bring forth our if we do not, we had this in the reading this morning, and Malcolm, you referred to this in morning prayer, that the holy seed left in the stump after the destruction, if we do not then attend to that seed, we might attend to our egoic self, but we must also foster the baby Christ, the infant Christ within us. It is that is death, isn't it? If we cannot bring forth who we really are.
Yes. When you were talking about monitoring our ego, that sort of mindfulness practice, that we keep watch on our thoughts and passions and prejudices. But the mind isn't divided into two in that way. It's one, and that one is the Christ, really. It's the world in which those things can happen, for want of words. And if you bring forth that within you, then that will save you. If you don't, then you're already dead, really. You stay dead.
Yes.
that
Mm.
awful phrase, let the dead bury their own dead, which
Mm.
is so telling.
Mm-hmm.
That I think Jesus said to the disciples that he was calling, yeah,
Yes, yeah.
let the
Yeah.
dead bury
One
their
of them
own
wanted
dead.
to bury his mother.
It's not often spoken about that, but this seems to relate to that. That
Mm.
without the Christ coming forth, we are dead.
Mm.
And when it does happen in the next verse, it says, Yeshua says, I will overturn this house and none will be able to rebuild it. Overturn our minds, the house of our minds, radically overturn it.
Mm.
And it can't be put together as it was before anymore. It's a total turnaround, total change, total regeneration. That's how it feels in these verses to me,
Yes.
as in as much as you can say anything.
Mm. It feels as if we've only just begun a conversation.
Mm.
But at the same time, I wonder whether we should move on to the second reading and a more um, contemplative approach.
Yes. There's always that when you try and talk in conceptual terms, there's always that huge pressure felt to get out of that and get into contemplative mode, beyond words. And we've been moving beyond words because words have failed each one of us during this conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
It would be easy, wouldn't it, to stay around the edge of the well talking like that? And that's a metaphor for our conversation intellectually, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we're going to go into the bridal chamber, then we need to go through the door.
Mm.
Yes.
So,
it's a good way to enter it. So
okay.
when you're ready, Tim.
So just a reminder, it begins at 68.
67.
No, 67, yeah. Yeshua said, those who know the all, yet do not know themselves, are deprived of everything. Yeshua said, blessed are you when they hate you and persecute you. There is a place where you are not persecuted, that they will never find. Yeshua said, blessed are those who have been persecuted in their hearts, for they have known the Father in truth. Blessed are those who are hungry, for they will be fulfilled. Yeshua said, when you bring forth that within you, then that will save you. If you do not, then that will kill you. Yeshua said, I will overturn this house, and none will be able to rebuild it. The man said to him, Speak to my brothers, that they may share with me my father's property. Yeshua answered him, Who made me into a divider? Turning to his disciples, he said, Who am I to divide? Yeshua said, The harvest is abundant, but the workers are few. Pray the Master to send more workers to the harvest. The Master said, There are many who stand around the well, but no one to go down into it. Yeshua said, Many are standing by the door, but only those who are alone and simple can enter the bridal chamber. Alone and simple, hungry.
Who made me a divider?
Who am I? Who is the one within me who divides?
I will overturn this house.
No one, no idea will rebuild it. No separated thing.
Who made me a divider? Jump into the well.
Many stand around the edge, and crowd next to the door.
Alone and simple,
Blessed are you when you are persecuted and feel alone. You may be simple.
alone, not divided, simple. One.
You'll be filled. There is a place where there is not destruction.
If you bring that forth, you will live.
If you don't bring that forth, then you are dead.
Simple hunger.
Reading. Yeshua said, "Those who know the All, yet do not know themselves, are deprived of everything." Yeshua said, "Blessed are you when they hate you and persecute you. There is a place where you are not persecuted that they will never find." Yeshua said, "Blessed are those who have been persecuted in their hearts, for they have known the Father in truth. Blessed are those who are hungry, for they will be fulfilled." Yeshua said, "When you bring forth that within you, then that will save you. If you do not, then that will kill you." Yeshua said, "I will overturn this house, and none will be able to rebuild it." A man said to him, "Speak to my brothers, that they may share with me my father's property." Yeshua answered him, "Who made me into a divider?" Turning to his disciples, he said, "Who am I to divide?" Yeshua said, "The harvest is abundant, but the workers are few. Pray the Master to send more workers to the harvest." The Master said, "There are many who stand round the well, but no one to go down into it." Yeshua said, "Many are standing by the door, but only those who are alone and simple can enter the bridal chamber."
Bye.